What's up, everybody, and welcome to this special edition of the G Show podcast. I'm G1, and this is the Alien Covenant spoiler review. I'm joined by my right hand, G95. What's up, brother?
Well, you know I wouldn't miss this.
I know. Also joined, first time doing a review together, second time really, because we did Guardians on the Geek Out, but this is a full just the review podcast. Chris, what's up, brother?
What's going on, man? What's going on?
And joining us, a long time coming, it's been a while. My brother from the other side of the pond, England. Leonard, I see your face, you're driving me crazy, bro. Leonard, what's going on, brother?
It's going good. It's about to go very bad for this film.
All right. Okay, so as we alluded to in the Geek Out podcast, Geek Out episode 8, if y'all listen to, this is our spoilerific review. We're gonna go and we're gonna get into details here. We're gonna get into the nitty gritty. We're gonna talk about what we liked and what we didn't like. Of course, that's what a review podcast is. Alien Covenant. Ridley Scott's third entry into the Alien franchise. His first being the close to masterpiece Alien. His second being Prometheus, which I actually watched last week to get ready for Alien Covenant. And I gotta be honest, watching it again last week, I actually do enjoy that movie. I think I'm gonna go and get that I think I'm gonna get the Steelbook. They have an Alien Steelbook coming out, and Prometheus is included in that group of Alien to Alien Resurrection and Prometheus. I think I'm gonna get that because I did enjoy it this time around. I really was super excited. Really excited now. Talking with Matt, you know, just going off of his vibes, how this was his most anticipated movie of the month, over Guardians of the Galaxy, I would say of this quarter, over Guardians of the Galaxy, over numerous other movies. It was getting to me too. And watching Prometheus again, and we talked about Prometheus a couple weeks back, Chris and Matt and myself, I was ready. I was excited to see what Ridley Scott was going to do. I saw a couple of spoilish things on the internet that kind of pissed me off, but I was like, okay, so that's what happens to Shaw. But it was a glimpse, and I didn't click on it, but I was mad because it was one of those clickbait things. A non-spoiler review online kind of pissed me off because they were like, it's like Alien and Aliens. Sounds like I didn't want to know that because now I'm looking forward to heavy action sequences. And Thursday comes, I get up into that theater, and the previews finally fucking end, and the movie starts off with David and David's creator playing the fucking piano, and I'm bored. 5 minutes of this shit, I'm bored. The popcorn's starting to taste stale. My soda's not doing the goddamn trick. I'm ready to go next door and watch Guardians Volume 2. This is the first 5 minutes of the movie, and I'm already bored. I found nothing out of that scene. Nothing. I got nothing from it. It was like Prometheus all over again. We didn't need that scene for me personally. So that was just the beginning. That's just how I'm going to introduce this to you guys. And I'm going to start. I'm going to get to you, Leonard, but I'm going to start with you, Chris. Take it away from that scene. You going into the theater. The movie starts. What's going through your head?
Yeah, probably good to start with me because I'm probably going to be like the one slightly dissenting voice in that. Like I said, I did kind of ultimately wind up enjoying it in spite of all of its flaws. I will agree that scene was boring. I get why Ridley Scott did it. He was trying to like build up for the turn in David's character later on, and, you know, giving us a setup for like how he thinks and how he looks at like his ideas of creation versus creator and all that stuff like that. So I understand why he put the scene in the movie. It dragged out about maybe a minute too long. You could have like kind of introduced those concepts in about 45 seconds or less.
Yeah.
And just like I said, the movie ultimately for me, maybe like I said in the spoiler-free thing that we did in the Geek Out, maybe it was just the mood that I was in when I went to go see it. I was, happy it was Friday. I was out of work. So I might have just been in a better mood. It did seem to kind of, like I said, kind of strike a good balance between the philosophical, heady themes and things that make you think and everything like that, and like watching the xenomorphs kill people, which is why, like I said, I go to see these movies in the first place. I want to see people getting like the second mouth shot through the forehead and all that stuff. So I did think it struck a good balance, but the movie has a ton of flaws.
Yeah.
That if it weren't for the fact that I wasn't a good movie when I go see it, I can honestly say I probably would have been like, this is stupid. This movie is stupid. Why am I watching this? This is dumb. You know, the whole thing of like that one scene where the captain follows David into the cave to see the eggs and he's like, oh no, go ahead and look at the eggs. They're fine. Like, you fucking idiot. No, this is obvious. It's set up. This is obvious. He's sitting there giving you this whole speech about how he genetically modified and these are things that are basically his babies. And you think like you can trust him to like, oh no, they're just looking for a mother. Like, get the fuck away from. I would have been on those stairs like, no, come take a look. Like, nah, bro, I'm good. Like, I'm fine. Like, I just saw you trying to talk to one of these things, and I'm gonna just like, nah, you know what? Boom, shoot all the eggs. Like, shoot David too while you're at it.
Exactly.
But then the movie's over right there. So if you had done that, like, it's one of those things where you make a character make a dumb decision because it's the only way to move the plot forward. And I hate that. That is, to me, is the absolute pinnacle of bad writing, is when you have a character make a decision that makes no sense because you've painted yourself into a corner where it's the only way to drive the plot forward.
Yeah.
Take it back to the chalkboard. Take it back to the corkboard, whatever like that. Break the scene again. Sit down with like 5 or 6 different writers and re-break the scene and figure out how to move past it. Because to have characters do things that are that dumb, like for instance, when the dude is with the guy's wife and she's like taking the sample of the swamp and he sits down and he's quashing. That's a logical way of getting the goo into him and like having the scene. Because he doesn't know what that stuff is. He didn't even see the stuff. He just happened to accidentally knock into it. But then later on, when they're investigating the engineer ship that David and Shaw had been on,
right?
And the guy sees little things, hey, what's this? I'm going to go and touch this foreign substance, which I've never seen in my life, with my bare hand and no mask on. Like, that was the guy playing with the worm in Prometheus all over again. You don't know what the fuck this shit is. Don't touch it.
Uh-huh.
You're on an alien planet that you've never been to before in your life. Don't fucking touch anything without a mask and gloves.
That's
characters doing dumb things. That
I agree with you, because that's one of the things that was pissing me off too, especially with the captain after everything he just been through. He was making logical. That's the kill. He was making logical decisions from the point where the shit hit the fan to David saving them. But yeah, I totally agree. Let's jump to you, Matt. I want to go to you because again, Leonard's stewing. You get in there. That first sequence starts. It opens up. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, that was a very slow scene. It was like, wow, this is really... I was also just kind of annoyed by the whole thing in general because it was that bright, stark white color. And the theater I went to, like, I don't think I'm going to go back to this theater anymore because I'm just like, it's like 0 for 3 with bad experiences there. It's something like the lights came on 20 minutes before the movie was over with Guardians 2. The lights didn't go off like 10 minutes into the movie during King Arthur, and there was like this weird flickering through the whole movie of Alien Covenant. Like the screen was just kind of flickering, like light, dark, and it was just like very annoying, especially with that bright, stark white of that opening scene. So yeah, I'm not going to go back to that theater, but that's so I was a little annoyed with that, and it was a slow scene. Its purpose didn't really seem that significant to the movie. I feel like I would have totally, having seen Prometheus, I would have understood David's motives for the most part.
Exactly.
Without that scene. And I thought it was off to a relatively good start after that. I thought it had a pretty good build-up. The whole thing with the weird distress signal or with Shaw singing, that was creepy and it was weird, and I felt like a logical explanation to go to this planet. Like, hey, we're hearing a human voice singing a song we all know in deep space. We should probably go check that out. And I felt like it had very good build-up up to a certain point, and that it was just like a very steep, like it plateaued, and it was just like a steep drop, and it just kept getting worse and worse. It brought up some interesting ideas, but I wasn't happy that they didn't answer any of the questions from Prometheus. Like, sure, we know what happens to David and Shaw, but we don't know why. We don't know still what the point of the engineers creating us was, or the point of the black goo and all that. All these questions are like hyping us that would be answered. We're not. They were just left open, to give David a god complex instead, and just the aliens, I think, were totally misused and mishandled. I just didn't feel comfortable with any of them on screen at all. It's just like, this is a bastardization of what I love.
It was
From a guy who actually, this is coming from a guy who actually enjoys Alien Resurrection. So, it's the aliens are really mishandled. And just Ridley Scott is actively retconning his own movies that he's made for no reason, other than that's the story that he feels like telling at the time. It's in the action I thought was terrible. I didn't have any, when an alien was attacking somebody, I had no idea what was happening on screen. With the shaky cam and the quick editing that's all over the place, to the fact that, it's just a bunch of pixels just moving around on screen, and it's somewhat hard to follow. It was just giving me a headache, and it was really taking me out of it. And the fight between David and Walter was also, anytime you have two characters that look exactly the same, that are dressed mostly the same too, it's very difficult to follow. And there's some distinctions, but still that kind of lost me once, there was robots doing kung fu on each other just because. And that ending too of the David Walter switch.
Oh wait. Yeah, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
Just coming a mile.
We're gonna get there.
But
yep.
That being said, I really do think the shining thing of this movie was Michael Fassbender, because he fucking killed it, as he always does. But overall, I still didn't understand David's motives or why he was doing that. There's still lots of stuff left open. If he created xenomorphs, why did we see chest-bursted dead engineers on Prometheus? Why was there a big alien mural in the altar room? Why was there all these questions still that still don't make any sense? And I'm not happy with what they did to Shaw.
Nope.
That's super fucked up and just wrong. It's just wrong. And I didn't hate the movie. Like I said in the Geek Out, I didn't hate it, but I definitely didn't like it.
So yeah, you bring up a lot of the points we're going to go over in this podcast. I agree. The Shaw thing pissed me off, especially when David says she's shown me compassion like no other. And then when the captain finds her, he's just like, or was the captain, or was it Walter when asked, when he asked her, he was like, yeah, I don't care. That's basically how it felt. David just brushed it off like, I don't give a fuck. And it was like, but she did show you compassion, and you were feeling her in Prometheus. It was just so fucking crazy. I loved Walter, though. I will say that. I loved Walter. I liked Fassbender as Walter. I hated Fassbender as David, but that goes to the writing, because you're supposed to hate David, So kudos to that, because that's how I felt with the Harry Potter 5. I hated that teacher, the fat teacher, the woman. I hated her, but that goes to the movie makers. So kudos to them. Let's go to you, Leonard, Mr. Stewie Stewpot over there on the other side of the world. You've been waiting a long time for this movie. You get there finally. You get to, what do you call it over there? Theater or the cinema?
Cinema.
You go to the cinema. And that fucking first 5 minutes that felt like 10 minutes that probably was 15 minutes of the movie start. What's going through your head?
Well, let's say that I went to this film breaking my own rule about films, like a fucking idiot, which is keep your expectations abysmally low, and no matter how bad the film is, you might be slightly impressed. That's what I did. I did that with Kong Skull Island, and I loved the film. Now, I went in, I'm really excited. I love the Alien films. I'm ready for this. I just bought the Alien figures. I got shit on Alien stuff. And there's like 5 minutes play out. I'm like, oh, Michael Fassbender. I'm down for Michael Fassbender. Anyone's down for Michael Fassbender. I'm like, oh, there's Wayland. Hi, Wayland. And I thought, okay, it's a slow start. Let's see how this plays out. I am okay with a slow start to a film because I have the patience of a saint. So I'm like, oh, okay, if I can sit through 4 hours of Return of the King, I can sit through this. I'm okay. Then Ridley Scott pulled a George Lucas on us.
Oh.
That whole film is Ridley Scott being George Lucas 2.0, is what I've concluded.
Very accurate.
Can't argue.
The first 5 minutes I was okay with. The slow start, you get some idea of David and Lotus and Prometheus. And bear in mind, Prometheus is still fresh off my mind because I watched the film before going there so I can get a scope of reference of what Ridley's doing nowadays. Well, Prometheus I don't like, but I like the idea of. This thing is... I don't even know where to start. Like, because all the points have been covered very, really well. It's just... It falls into the same problem the original Alien did, now that I think about it, with the horror movie trope problem. Starts off, with Alien, starts off really well, then falls in the horror movie tropes, but still manages to be a fucking fantastic film. This just goes straight in deep. I'm like, okay, we're starting off to a rocky start. That's fine. Then action immediately. This film ended up expecting us to be like, care for these characters by using YouTube promotional content.
Huh, true.
Like, there's stuff with Shaw and David that's not in the film. There's stuff with them talking to each other about, we've been on this journey for a very long time to get to know the characters. That's not in the film. So much shit that's put online that's not in the film, which should have been in the film. Especially the stuff with Shaw and David, which would have been... Because we have Sandra Bullock return for her role for what is a short video and not the film. The film's a mess. It's a glorified, shitty CGI implanted mess because... And I got horribly disappointed because it advertised itself as Alien, from the director of Alien, here's Prometheus 2.0. I'm like, oh! Like, he is... Because, like Matt said, I don't like Alien Resurrection, but I prefer that and Alien vs. Predator Requiem over this film at this point. Because they acknowledge what they are. Stupid popcorn flicks. If you're going to advertise yourself as an Alien film, use the fucking Alien.
I agree.
Please. The Neomorphs were fine. I thought the Neomorphs had a creepy factor that the Xenomorph didn't have initially, especially the one in the film. They were freaky. Big and freaky and scary. And I was like, I like them. And then one of them, of course, we know what happens to the first one when Sean Logan and Captain again. And then they don't explain where the fucking second one went. He's there. He's somewhere. Not there. Just don't worry about him. Don't worry. He's gone. He's gone. They don't explain where the second Xenomorph came from, actually.
Oh, the second Xenomorph came from the dude who got the acid burn on his face. He had the face hugger on him. But it was on him, like, just long enough to impregnate him.
That kind of bothered me because they didn't really show that. I mean, I thought he had his hands trying to, keep it off. I thought he had one hand up and it was wrapped around this way.
Keep in mind that the face hugger has this tube coming out of its vagina thing.
Right, he has a penis that comes out of his vagina and goes into the mouth. I gotcha. I totally gotcha.
Right. Yeah. They didn't really explain that very clearly. So when the second Xenomorph came along, I was like, where the fuck he come from? As well as, like, the film just completely... Prometheus left some mystery, but it left some mystery open to debate, mystery open to a film to explain it. This just completely ignored that mystery, said, here's the mystery, but it fucks up the story. I'm like, but what about the engineering at the beginning of Alien? Why has he got a chest bursted open? Why has he got eggs on the ship? If David's creating these fuckers, where did he come from?
That's my biggest beef with this fucking what Ridley Scott's doing right now. I don't need to know where the alien came from. When you see that Xenomorph in Alien 1, when you see the face hugger, when you see the chest burst, when you see all that, you're fucking scared because here's the thing. It's an alien. It's a fucking thing that we have no idea what it is. And you see what just happened. That's scary in its own right. Now you're showing me the evolution of it, and there should be no reason. I fucking hate that. I hate that. I'm sorry. I hate that. Oh.
I'm down for the origin of the xenomorphs if it was done correctly. If it was done correctly, like showing the engineers creating them, their own creations turning against them, which is what Prometheus hinted at, I would have been down for it. I would have liked that. I'm fine. But I would say, yeah, this android created them within the space of 30 years before Alien, and you expect us to believe that they were created in the space of 30 years before the first Alien film, and not what engineers are hinting at with thousands of years of histories with the xenomorphs. And I get, hold on, like, how does this explain more? And it does really fucks up things. It even fucks up Alien vs. Predator, whether you consider that canon or not. Although technically it is, because in one of the Prometheus comics, a Predator appears. There's straight up a Predator in a comic related to Prometheus, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, Predators are in this shit. And it kind of fucks up the whole logic of them hunting the xenomorphs for thousands of years as well. And I'm like, wait, if they're just here 30 years before Alien, how does that make?
Wait, is that the actual timeline?
I don't know whether the film of Alien vs. Predator is in the timeline.
No. I'm saying the timeline from Alien and this.
I remember someone talking about it somewhere like 30 to something or more years before.
That's fucking terrible.
And I'm like, what the actual fuck is going on here?
Like, well, I think, sorry to interrupt again, but I think Prometheus takes place like 90 years before the first Alien. So this would be like still like 80 years.
Okay, yeah, because it was a 10-year gap.
Even so, it still doesn't explain how it all works cohesively. And I'm like, it really annoys me. As well as like, there are proposed ideas for scenes that, of course, got online that I really like the idea of. One being Xenomorph versus Neomorph fight. And I was down for that because a stupid monster fight would have made this film 10 times better. With everything going on at this point, if I saw a Neomorph straight up fight the Xenomorph, it would have, one, given a great conclusion to the second Neomorph, wherever the fuck he went. He just disappeared off the face of the earth. It's like, I'm the thing at Prometheus too. At the end of Prometheus, bye, you never see me again. I'm like, okay. It just fucks up so many things. If they had explained that, let's say David just created this specific strain of Xenomorph. Clearly, if they said, he just created this Xenomorph, not the ones you already know about, I would have been fine with that, because it's like, he thinks he's creating something new, and in fact he isn't. Engineers beat into that shit long ago. Because the Xenomorph in this film looks oddly completely different to what we know.
That's a point that I wanted to get to, was that the Xenomorph we saw in Covenant was still pretty different than the Xenomorphs we know. Like, when it came out, the chest burster came out, it was fully formed. It had little limbs and stuff, as opposed to the one we know that's very much like a snake or a worm kind of thing. It's still like it hasn't, and it was yellow. The one that burst out of the captain's chest was black. It was fully formed, all that. Yeah, so, I mean, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. There's still room for these things to change. Like, this is like a protomorph, I've heard it's being called. But I didn't like it. I didn't care for the neomorphs either. I thought they were dumb and weird looking.
Real quick, going off of what Matt just said, Chris, let me ask you a question. Do you think Ridley Scott is smart enough to say, yeah, that's exactly what I was doing? Or do you think Ridley Scott was just like, nah, fuck, I'm retconning all that other shit. I don't want to hear that, James Cameron's movie's better than mine. Nobody makes an Alien movie from here on out. It's only me.
I think if Ridley Scott hears this podcast, he might take that idea into consideration. I don't think it's what he had in mind from the get-go. Because that seems to be like when he had that. I'm not sure if you guys saw the article that came up like a week or so ago when he was talking about the fan reaction to Prometheus and everything like that. And he was saying, like, I realized I made a mistake because the people wanted to see the xenomorphs more and everything like that. And that's why he made the decision that he made to have them feature a little bit more in this movie. I think it's gotten to a point now where he kind of doesn't really know what he's doing because like everyone's already been pointing out, Prometheus, you see when they first go into that big altar room where they see the little vials of the little jars of the black goo, you see like a hieroglyph image of like the xenomorph.
Yep.
Already with the engineers. But now in this movie, it kind of seems like David engineered them by himself, like he did in the example. So it's almost like he's retconning his own retcon, which makes no fucking, like, what? and it's like, okay, we did this immediately, but I got this completely new idea of, like, maybe David did it all along, and so let's do that. And it's like, nobody was sitting there like, dude, you can't just keep jumping these ideas around and making them, because then, like you saying, how do we get to the point where they go to LV-426 and they find the engineer corpse with all the eggs around it and everything like that? How do we get to that point? Does David track down the engineers that might not have been on the home planet when he first raided it? And he's, like, just going through the things, slaughtering them and making new xenomorphs? Like, what's going on with that? And this is so weird. And it's like you were mentioning before, and I started to get into it in the Geek Out, and you told me to save it for this. It's like, that's where you start to lose that horror aspect, because what made the xenomorph so scary in the first movie is that you didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
It was just this random alien life form, parasite kind of thing that just showed up and started slaughtering everybody. And like I said, it was the same problem that I had with this Rob Zombie remake of Halloween. It's like when you start trying to explain the character, it takes away from what makes it scary. Because if it's just some random dude that had a bad upbringing, you can reason with that guy. You can talk to him. You can talk him down. You can understand where he's coming from. Like, hey, Michael, calm down. Like, I know you were abused as a kid, but, like, let's talk this out. Let's work through these issues together. You know me. We've worked together for years. Let's talk it out. Whereas opposed to, like, in the original movie, he was just, like, some force of nature. And, yeah, they took it to extremes in the rest of the franchise, but that's what made him scary, is that you didn't understand exactly what he was. And it was the same thing with the xenomorph. It's scary because you don't exactly understand what it is and where it's coming from and what might happen next with it and everything, and how it'll continue to evolve and all that stuff. So it just completely destroys the horror aspect of it, where it just becomes like you're only enjoying it for the blood splatter, which I'm fine with. I was fine just watching the alien cut through people, and the two people, the couple's in the shower, and then the tail comes up and it, like, cuts through the glass. I'm fine with just watching it for the gore factor, which is just like I'm fine with watching the Friday the 13th franchise just to watch Jason chop people up with a machete.
Right.
I'm cool with that. But it does take away from the actual psychological aspect of the fear of it.
Yep.
You're not scared of the character anymore. You're just enjoying the gore. And it's like torture porn, which can be fine. But just like this Ridley Scott, like I said, he's retconning his own retcon. He has characters making decisions that don't make any sense whatsoever just to drive the plot forward. You're taking away from what makes the creature scary to begin with by trying to explain it. At this point, it's like one of those things where the same thing with George Lucas, where it's probably the franchise is better off if you take the original creator out of it and just, like, give it to somebody else and see what they can do with it.
Oh my God, you nailed it, because I was really gonna go right back to what Leonard said, and then you brought George Lucas back into it. Ridley Scott, it's called midichlorians. Stay the fuck away from it. Stay the fuck away from it. You don't want to go there. Yeah, and I agree with everything y'all saying. Again, the mystery behind the xenomorph is the scary part. The design is absolutely frightening. I'm afraid of parasitic organisms. You know what I'm saying? Like you hear about that zombie parasite that it's a fungus that implants in an ant's head, and the ant basically becomes a zombie. That's scary shit. That's like from The Last of Us and shit, the video game. I don't want something bursting out of my chest to become a brand new life form. That's scary, scary shit. You take the whole thing, David's whole reason of being is tossed around because in the beginning of this movie, why'd you create me, or you created me? Now David wants to be able to create life and shit, and really, so basically the creator's creation is creating something to destroy the creator. Y'all got that? Y'all followed, right?
Yeah.
I don't like that. Is that what you're telling me, Ridley Scott? I don't want to see that. And again, like Chris said, the blood and gore is going to be in it, and that's cool. I'm cool with that shit. But that's not where I'm going. And again, and I said this on podcast previous, I'm not there for the philosophical either. Alien was a sci-fi horror movie. Beautifully shot. It very suspenseful, very intense. Aliens was a sci-fi action movie. Gave me everything I wanted. grab your nuts, go to war. You know what I'm saying? Vasquez is in there. She got a big machine gun. She's lighting up the motherfucking place. I love that. These were characters I cared about. Ripley, of course. There was zero characters I cared about at all. Except for maybe Walter. I actually liked Walter. Walter was like, I'll talk to him. But then they do the whole fucking part where Walter and David have another 10-minute long conversation. Again, one of those things, I wanted to just go next door. The Guardians was playing next door. I should have just walked next door. He starts playing the flute. What the fuck was the point of that? To show Walter that you don't need to just do what they say. You can actually create your own shit. Why? I hated it. And that's why I was mad at the movie, because I'm like, you're calling it Alien, okay? And here I have two robots playing the fucking flute. You know, I don't care about that shit. And like Matt alluded to, you got the aliens in these... They're not even fucking featured. They're there for 10 minutes tops. I'm sick of it. Matt.
Well, also, it's not even that. It's like the aliens were doing things I wouldn't want to see an alien do.
Like what? Like the dancing part when he came out of the chest? Oh, God.
Yeah. That. Just, the alien in the daylight. That was kind of weird. Yeah. That's something we've never really seen before, unless you count Requiem, which I do not. I was also just not a fan of the Neomorphs either. I thought they were just like seeing them walk upright and seeing the Xenomorph walk upright is just something I don't want to see because it looks silly. Because like the Xenomorph design, the elongated head and just the elongated proportions and stuff like that, it's suited better to like crawl around and stuff like that or run on all fours, but seeing it walk upright like a person is just bizarre looking. It just looks wrong. It just looks off. And also the alien vision that we saw in the third act of the movie.
Oh, I forgot about that. See, now you reminded me. I tried to... That shit was fucking terrible.
It was awful.
Oh.
You know, the only other movie to show the alien vision would be Alien 3. And Alien 3 fucking sucks. So...
That's why I had to post that. I'm not sure I posted that status on Facebook the other day. Like, tonight on TBS, the original movie that started it all, Barney Weaver stars in Alien, presented in Xenovision. This is such a gimmicky fucking thing to do.
I think once I get a copy of this film, I'm just going to tape something to it and call it David Covenant. His name was Davitheus. David Covenant. David 3, David Resurrection. Yeah. But the thing that pisses me off most about this film is not the film itself, is that before it came in people, before Ridley Scott picked it up, it was Alien 5. It was going to be done by someone else.
Neil Blomkamp. Yep.
And it was supposed to be a soft reboot. It was going to give Ridley, Newt, and Hicks a proper fucking ending instead of saying, they're dead, here's a film. And I'm I like that idea so much more. I want to see Sigourney, I want to see Ripley have a better ending than pulling a Terminator on me. And I want to see Hicks have a proper end. I want to see Newt have a proper end. I want to see Bishop have a proper end instead of being like, they ended the shit and there's face huggers somehow and they somehow got to Ripley. I want that. I don't want this, because that still keeps mystery, it still keeps us alien, it still keeps us good and what we like about it. Instead of this mess of David. I liked in Prometheus. I like David, but not this much. I like Michael Fassbender, but I don't want two of them on my screen at once.
Let me
slow down.
Let me ask y'all. And I'm going to go down the line. I'm going to start with you, Chris, then Leonard, then Matt. Did you like what happened to Shaw, Chris?
I was indifferent to it.
Yeah?
I didn't like it, but I didn't dislike it either. I was just kind of like, makes sense for what they've been showing with David's character so far in this movie.
Okay. Leonard?
No, no. Like when I first saw David, when he was of course shadowed in the cloak, I thought, is that? It didn't occur to me that was David at the time. I thought, is that Shaw? Please say that's Shaw. Like, and then it's David. And he goes, actually dead. I'm like, no, I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all because I feel like again, Shaw also needed a proper end.
Right.
Considering all the shit she went through at Prometheus.
That right there, Matt.
Did I like what happened to Shaw? Fuck no.
Yeah.
Hated it. It was terrible. It was just like that little short prequel thing that they released on YouTube was interesting. That got me interested. I would like a more Shaw-centric story because she was an interesting character who went, like Leonard said, went through some serious shit in Prometheus, and they just totally dislike. She, they're like, all right, David, let's go to the engineer homeworld and figure out why they created us and why do they wanted to kill us. And so somewhere in that space of time, he just kills her and he just eviscerates her. Like we saw the drawings of what he did to her. He like totally fucked up her face.
We saw her. Like, she's there. And she's there. You saw the drawings and you saw her body. It's crazy.
Yeah, he just like fucked her up. It was like totally dissected her and stuff. Why? Just probably more experimentation. Probably. Maybe she was. Who knows? But it was terrible. It was a terrible ending to her, and it probably had something to do with contracts and money being involved as to why Nui Rapace didn't have a bigger role or something like that. It really does probably come down to money. This is the reasons why she's not featured more heavily in the movie, but it feels wrong. It feels like that was my biggest problem with the movie was they just ignore all the open-ended questions from Prometheus that we were promised to get answers to, and they just throw it at the door to see what happens to these characters. I'm more interested in the why and not what, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. No, I agree. I just hated what they did to her. I feel the same way. She went through so much shit. And I personally would have liked the movie where it was them in the ship. I would have liked a direct continuation. No, and I understand, and I'm okay with where he went with the Covenant and shit. But I would have liked to see more, because again, that little prequel thing we got on YouTube, I thought that should have been the opening of the movie.
Yeah.
Instead of that 5 minutes with David, like y'all all said, we already saw that in Prometheus. We saw that already. We know that character. We don't have... Listen, if you want to get reacquainted, watch Prometheus again. It's the fucking sequel, and that's what drove me crazy. But I would have rather have seen the movie of them going to the engineers' planet, him doing what he did to the engineers, dropping their bombs on them. And if I'm not mistaken, because I just watched Prometheus, those were supposed to be for Earth. Like, they were setting up those things. They were going to eradicate humans. That's the question I want answered, Why? And we can't get that.
That Ridley Scott was saying they were going to answer. The why they created us and why they turned their back on us.
Right. And
because we killed Jesus.
Because what?
Because we killed Jesus.
That was insinuated, but I refuse to believe that's the reason why.
But as far as I know, that's what Ridley Scott said, like as an offhand comment one time, that his plan was to have it be the backstory that the engineers sent an emissary to Earth, and that was Jesus, and then we killed him, so they decided to wipe us all out.
That still doesn't make much sense.
Neither do either of these two movies, bro. I'm
just saying, they could have come up with a better explanation, and honestly...
I know.
Ridley Scott just says so much shit these days. When they were doing promotion for the first Prometheus, he was insinuating that Charlize Theron's character was also an android.
Oh. Yeah.
So, I'm just saying, his offhanded comments aren't to be really trusted.
That's fair.
Do androids sweat? because she was sweating. She was doing those push-ups. Anyhow, I mean, yeah. Okay, look, let's get to this part of the podcast. Let's do some pros and cons here, right?
One thing I want to say, though, because we were talking about the whole Shaw thing, I think that this movie would have been a far more intriguing movie if it turned out like it wasn't David and Shaw was the one who, over the course of 10 years, kind of engineered the xenomorphs and lured these people in to, like... Because she was kind of like a biologist, too. I think if it's at some point during the 10 years she just went nuts and started trying to make the xenomorphs herself and everything like that, that would have been like, I don't know how they would have pulled it off, but I think just the idea of that is kind of intriguing to me now that I think of it.
Yeah, I like that idea a little bit more than David because it seemed like David had that motive since Prometheus. You know? That was his game. He was like, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. I want to create life. I want to see what happens. And we spoke about that a couple weeks ago in the Geek Out. I forgot whether it was you, Chris, or you, Matt, that brought that up. How David was like, "No, I'm gonna put this goo in his dude's drink just to see what happens." So yeah, it's kind of like, of course, we as the audience understand that, but the crew of the Covenant don't know what they're getting into. This guy just saved them, you know, or this droid just saved them. Let's go into some pros and cons. I can't lie. I like the what were they called? The first the what do you call them? The protomorph? That's what you call them? No. Neomorph.
The protomorph would be the ones that came from the actual eggs.
Okay, so I like the neomorph. I did. I can't even lie. They were scary. What I didn't like was how they were created. The first one, I hated the whole nanobite spore thing that found his ear. Come on, man. That bothered me a lot. It went in his ear, and I didn't like that. I just thought that was stupid. The sentient spore. I didn't like it at all. And I agree with Chris. Who the fuck puts their face to this thing with no protection on? Come on, you're not smart. You're supposed to be smart. That's why you're one of the crew. You're not one of the people they just woke up that's supposed to fucking, seed the land.
Colonized.
Yeah, you weren't a colonist. You were a fucking crew member. There's a reason. Prometheus had... That's another one of those things I do agree with in Prometheus. Dude, you're all scientists. You all a specialist in a certain field. Don't put your finger in the goo. Don't try to touch the ugly snake thing. Don't touch it. Back the fuck off. Whoa. So for that, yeah, I agree. It was stupid. But I did like the neomorph. And I liked its incubation period. And that's a big thing I hated with this movie. Incubation period. It reminded me of AVP, where the fucking facehugger gets on them, and 2 minutes later, they got a chest burster. I hated that, because there's really not a lot of time that passes when the captain gets the facehugger wrapped around him. And if you want to call it a protomorph, or it's a different thing, because in the first Aliens, there's a significant amount of time that passes from when John Hurt gets the facehugger on him. There's a decent amount of time. It seemed to be really not that much time that passed from when the captain got it and then the chest burst to pop. I didn't like that. I hated it. I really did.
After he woke back up after the facehugger came off him.
Exactly. And that pisses me off. It's just like...
the original movie, John Hurt had time to sit down and eat dinner and shit like this.
Yeah, he was in a coma for like fucking an hour or three, and then he got up. He's like, oh, all right, I'm cool. This shit happened like all within an hour, it seemed. And I hated that. I thought it was terrible. What I did like, again, going back to those neomorphs, I enjoyed that sequence on the ship with Tennessee's wife. I enjoyed that sequence. That's where I thought this movie was turning around. That's the Alien movie. That's when I started seeing Alien and Aliens merge. I was like, here we go. And I don't need guns a-blazing. I don't. But that was the most suspenseful part of the whole movie to me. And to the way it ended.
People react to the situation the way they should be reacting.
Exactly. And that's why, to your point, Chris, the captain making bonehead decisions by putting his fucking head in the egg at the end. His wife just died. They just saw these creatures. He just saw the girl's head floating in the fucking well. And that thing, David, why? I don't get it. It didn't make no fucking sense to me. It's not like David injected him with something or hypnotized him. This dude was a logic mind. At this point, we gotta get the fuck out of here. That bothered me. And David, like you said, David explained to him, yeah, no, I'm creating these things. Okay, let me put my face in this thing. Go get the fuck. Ridley Scott is too good of a fucking director or a storyteller to just, he's being a bonehead. And that kind of insulted my intelligence. And like I said, man, I don't go to the movies to look for the philosophical aspect. I go to have fun. I didn't have fun because you're blatantly saying, nah, fuck all that shit. No, you don't got to worry about that. Dude, but you just made that. You just made that. And anyhow, neither here nor there. I thought that was really fucking cool. The sequence there with the first Neomorph. Pretty much everything after that I found boring. The action sequences, that was the best part of the movie for me, was the part on the ship. Tennessee's wife conveyed the fear that I felt when watching the first Aliens. She conveyed the fear. She felt like she belonged in those movies. And after that, it was just, and I get it. You have the Macho Men. I mean, it's the other girl, you know, I forget her fucking, what was that, Danielson? What's her name, Daniels?
Daniels.
You have Daniels, who's the Ripley clone, who I couldn't stand that at all. Because what was she? She was a rock climber. What was her thing? Terraforming? Right? Was that? And then she's fucking.
I think.
Go ahead.
No, I think so. She was like in charge of the terraforming ship.
And then she's fucking Tarzan. I'm like, and that's. So here's where I'm going. I'm sure we're all going to agree with this. Here's where you see the ending coming a mile away. You know that's not Walter running down. Walter would have went out on the ship instead of Daniels. So if you don't, that right there is insulting my intelligence. You know that. Walter would have went out on the fucking ship to try to deal with that alien. He wouldn't have sent her out there. He wouldn't have done it. So that pissed me off. That whole sequence, as cool as I thought it was in the trailer, was whack when I saw it in the movie. I hated it. The allude to aliens, you know, when she crushes the alien, I hated it. The ending on the ship, I hated it. Nothing was suspenseful. Nothing was scary. I did not fear for any one of their lives. Tennessee just lost his wife, who he really loved. Felt like that was his whole thing, and he's just all like, "All right, let's get out of here now." Come on, man. Come on. The captain was, yeah.
The biggest problem with that ending, with the whole Walter David switch thing, was that none of what David did once he came out of the temple made any sense for his character. Because if his whole goal was to like wipe them out, whatever like that, so he could take command of the ship and everything like that, why not just immediately go and snap Tennessee's neck, crash the plane, let the xenomorph finish off two dudes?
Exactly. Made no sense.
There was no need for him to get to the point where, and then he's helping them destroy the xenomorph to gain their trust and everything like that. There was no need for him to do any of that.
Well, no, there was, because he knew about the Covenant. He knew about the Covenant being a colonist ship. And that was his experimentation.
No, but I'm saying he had just wiped them out on that thing and just taken that transport back into the Covenant itself.
Yeah, that's right.
There was no need for him to do any of that stuff. He could have just killed them offhand, let the xenomorph finish them, and then just flown up to the colony ship.
I agree 100%. Matt, your biggest...
Yeah, I agree with that. Are we doing pros and cons now?
Pros and cons.
Okay. Pros, Michael Fassbender.
Yeah.
Just fucking killed it. Danny McBride was surprisingly really good. I was actually a fan of pretty much all of the actors in the movie. I thought they all did a pretty good job. Cinematography was top-notch. I think I liked Prometheus's look and vibe and style a little bit more. But the sets were cool and all that. This is more of like technical kind of stuff. The backburster scene was bar none my favorite.
Yeah.
That was, the only part I actually felt any kind of suspense. And they're like, oh shit, stuff's turning around. It's gonna get, things are rolling, things are getting good. But yeah, before that, I thought it had a pretty decent build up and stuff like that too. It was like, okay, we see things aren't quite as they seem on this planet, but still things weren't. Yeah, that's where I get into the cons. Is nothing really made sense. David motives didn't really make sense, especially in terms of what happened in Prometheus. I don't like. I hate what they did to Shaw. I didn't like the use of the aliens. The whole third act was awful. I didn't like what they did to the engineers. The action was impossible to follow for me. And just, the part where the Neomorph is attacking that dude in the field, or all those people in the field, and like, oh shit, stuff's happening, but I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
And it was even on the ship when they're trying to get back to the Covenant and they're fighting the alien outside of it, like, it just, the claw comes down and squishes it and it blows up or whatever, and I'm like, oh, it's dead now? All right, I guess it's dead. Yeah, it was very difficult for me to follow whatever was going on the screen. Yeah, it was just a badly written movie. That big David Walter switcheroo thing was, you could see that coming a mile away.
Not to mention that David had gotten punctured right here with the spike.
Yeah.
That wasn't even there, and they like legitimately showed the dude's chin. And,
I hope that we do get at least one more movie. To hope, like, I still think, maybe it's the internal optimist in me that, yeah, we can still turn it around. We can still make this okay. We can retcon it some more, and we'll get something good. But there was much more that I disliked about the movie than I liked.
Yeah, Leonard, pros and cons.
Pros: Fassbender is always a delight to watch any film, TV show or film. I was happy with him. I think that's about it for me, actually. Cons of the film. I can't think of any other pros. That's all it is. Fassbender. Done. Cons. Dig into it, shall we? CGI was very off in some places to do with the Xenomorph and with the Neomorph's mouth. It was very odd. It was just not believable, especially with the Xenomorph and how it moved and shit like that. It's really hard to think because there's so many fun in my mind. The characters I couldn't give two shits about, especially since they didn't really build them up properly. Oh yeah, that's another pro. Daniel Bryan was actually pretty goddamn good as well. Also, back to the cons. Why the fuck did they cast James Franco if they're not going to fucking use him? It's James Franco and he's dead for a whole 2 seconds. Fantastic.
He did the right thing. He got out of that movie before it fucking took off. I would have done the same shit. I wish I'd have done the same shit.
Although I think the movie would have been infinitely better if he had stuck around and it was just him and Danny McBride playing off of each other for 2 hours.
Please, I would have fucking done the shit out of that. Pineapple Express with Xenomorphs. Yeah, right? Pineapple Express with Xenomorphs. Yes! Fuck.
Yes, please. But the story was just a downright mess. For the film's namesake, they didn't use enough of the Xenomorph that made sense. At this point, it was kind of just like, wait, hold on, what's this game called? Alien? What is an alien? The Xenomorph. Quick, shove it in there. Shove it in there. And I'm like, please stop forcing this down my throat. I get it, we need Xenomorph, but you should have used this early on in the film where it made narrative sense. The Neomorphs, as cool as they are, as creepy as they are, didn't really serve that much of a purpose of the film except for being Xenomorph 2.0 and to be a replacement. As well as, again, the story makes no sense. They ignore a lot of the questions of Prometheus. They're mucking up the story to do with Alien in the case of film sense, excluding shit like comics and everything like that. In terms of connecting the films, still doesn't make any fucking sense. Serves no fucking purpose. This might as well be Attack of the Clones. It's just... Yeah. I don't know anymore.
It's upsetting because you have the title Alien in this movie, right? And in every single Alien movie, the alien is the antagonist. And it's not that in this movie. It's David. So it's
David.
And that's what pisses me off a lot more too, because it's so misleading. That's why I wrote, "Don't let the title fool you." It's Prometheus too. I would have been okay if they would have called it Prometheus 2. They did not need to call it Alien, and that's a slap in the face to me. It really is.
Like, and the biggest mistake was advertising it as an Alien film.
Mm-hmm.
Saying, it is Alien Covenant, Return of Ridley Scott directing, Alien. He put the xenomorph all over the fucking promotional shit, not so much for me. People else. Well, xenomorph, but then suddenly it's not that. Don't advertise it as that if it's not that.
The old bait and switch.
That's exactly what it was.
It was. It's like trying to advertise Phantom Menace as a good film as well.
Damn it!
Like,
Shut up! I love that movie when I first saw it.
The next thing I'm gonna see is Jar Jar in a fucking alien costume. I'm like, fuck, man. He's a xenomorph.
It's gonna be a mommy.
Oh god, Chris, pros and cons.
To echo what everyone else has said so far, I think the major pro was Michael Fassbender. Even as David, he played that character really well and drawing the creepiness and it's interesting to see the idea of like an android, not just like as an evil AI that's like cold and logical and methodical and everything like that, but like it's an AI that's like sociopathic. Like he was a legit like psychopath robot. And I also really dug him as Walter too. I love the scene where you find out that after he stabbed him in the neck with the flute, which I'm assuming was made out of one of Shaw's bones, because otherwise, what is it going to be made out of?
Good call.
It did look kind of hollow. Anyway, that's getting off the point. But like when you find out that he didn't die, and you see the neck heal up, and he comes and David's getting ready to kill Daniels and everything like that, and then Walter comes down and still alive, and he's like, "Go, get out of here! I got this." I love that moment, like the way that Walter's like, "I got this, son. Go to the ship. I got this shit." So that was a cool moment for me. I enjoyed watching Fassbender toss Fassbender around, even as confusing as it kind of had to be, because you have to. It's hard to pull off an actor fighting himself, even with the technology that we have now and everything like that. Like it's kind of hard to pull off, to mask when it's the stuntman and when it's the actual actor and everything like that. So it's going to be a little bit incoherent, but it's still cool to watch them just like. Because they're androids, they just automatically know all these martial arts styles because it's just implanted in their brain or whatever like that. That was fun to watch. But then the whole switch thing happened, and it was stupid, and we all knew it was coming. There was no even point in like cutting away from the fight after you see David reaching for the knife.
Exactly.
You knew what was going to happen after that. You knew it was going to be David running out of there and Walter's clothes and everything.
Yep.
Again, I think it would have been much more intriguing if within like that 30 to 45 seconds, somehow David convinced Walter to be on his side.
I agree.
And that
yes.
was Walter at the end that did the thing with the aliens or whatever like that.
Yes, that's how I...
That would have been a intriguing thing where
yes.
Where Walter finally saw the plan and understood what was going on, and it was really Walter that was like infesting the ship with the alien eggs and everything. That would have been cool. But yeah, like I said, a lot of the characters, they played themselves really well, even though they had some really shitty writing to work with. I think Billy Crudup did a good job with playing the captain, even though the captain's character was written as like really dumb with the whole going into the cavern thing and everything. I just wish he would have like Dr. Manhattan, the guy right there. Yeah. And that would have been the end of it. Like, I'm just going to Dr. Manhattan all of this shit. Like, it's no more. But yeah, I dug the actors, but everything else was just bad writing, bad narrative, bad use of the xenomorphs. The xenovision was just ridiculous. And I still walked out the movie, though, having felt like I enjoyed myself. Like I was entertained. I guess it was like one of those things where it's kind of like a train wreck. You're entertained by the way things fell apart. Like you kind of hate watching it. That's kind of what it became for me now that I'm looking back on it. Because I was entertained by the movie, as bad as I can recognize it as being.
Yeah, I totally wasn't. I was bored for the most part in that movie. I was waiting for it to pick up and deliver aliens. And we got 2 xenomorphs and an ending that always fucking happens. And I'm tired of it. I really am. That's why one of the reasons why I like Alien Resurrection is the fact that, yeah, it got sucked out to space, but through a fucking hole the size of a quarter. It was cool to look at. I'm tired of the same damn thing. This alien did the same thing that the first alien did, that the Queen alien did. The Alien versus Predator, in a sense, got pushed down into the depths of the ocean, which is the vastness of space, if you will. I was like, you did the same fucking thing. I'm tired of it. What are you going to do next? I don't know. I'm bored. And in all honesty, I don't think I'm going to get on. I'm not on the train for the next one. And yeah, that's still about 2-3 years away, maybe. But after this left a really nasty taste in my mouth. I got to go get an x-ray, as a matter of fact, see if I ain't got nothing chilling in my chest, because that's how I feel right now. I feel like something invaded me, and I didn't like it. I didn't. It wasn't what I expected it to be. It wasn't what it was advertised to be. It was Prometheus 2, and I really wish they would have called it Prometheus 2, because after seeing Prometheus again last week, I enjoyed that movie. I would have had fun with this if it was Prometheus. Maybe. Because then the xenomorphs wouldn't have been the focus, which I thought they would be, which is what the marketing gave us. It wasn't that. And that's upsetting. And again, there's a lot of clone characters. And what I say is, Daniels is Ripley clone, you know? But she didn't have that oomph that Ripley had. Granted, she lost James Franco right off the bat. She's hurt. Ripley didn't have that. Ripley was just about surviving. And that is what made Alien 1 such a fucking good, because you went along for that ride. This chick turned to Tarzan and started fucking doing. I said, I can't get behind it. But I will say this. I know where they're going, and if they do go this route, it's the greatest thing in the world. Fox owns both titles, and what they need to do is have Ridley Scott direct an X-Men movie and introduce the Xenomorphs as the Brood, and then, ladies and gentlemen, we will fucking make this a masterpiece. Come on, man. Y'all know you want to see it now. You know you want to see the X-Men Alien crossover. If Fox making a shared universe, the Brood. Come on. That's exactly what he's doing now. Bunch of bums. You know I'm right.
Yeah, I just want to see them try and redo Alien vs. Predator at this point, with the new Predator film coming out.
All right. All right, fine.
I'll tell you one more thing that I had a problem with the whole David Walter swap thing was there was a scene when Daniels is helping stitch David up, which I don't know what level she understands how the androids work, and she doesn't know that Walter can like heal or whatever like that. But there's that scene where she like stitching them up, and she looks at the hand, and she kind of looks at him funny, and that scene kind of gives you a sense that Daniels knows something is off, and that maybe this is not Walter. That's how I read the scene.
Yeah.
But then they do nothing with that, and she doesn't discover it till the end. You're gonna help me build a cabin in the wood, and Daniel's looking at her like, "Fuck you talking about? What cabin?" Like, and that's when she realizes. But there's that scene when she's stitching them up. It almost plays like she kind of knows something is off.
Yep.
And that maybe this isn't Walter. But then they don't do anything with it. The movie's kind of filled with moments where they like the same thing with Prometheus, where they set things up and then just completely abandon it like 30 seconds later.
See, in defense of Prometheus, I will say this again because I just watched it and I enjoyed it. I really got a kick out of it. The setup was, yeah, we're not going to answer these questions. And it's not your traditional Alien movie. I was intrigued by the mystery of the engineers. I was intrigued by that. And then the ending, I was intrigued. They're going to find answers. The answers we got, though, in Alien Covenant was David dropping bombs pretty much on the engineers and killing Shaw to experiment on her. And we don't get to really see that. Like, I would have loved to see the betrayal in Shaw's eyes. And like Matt said, maybe it is a money thing. But I don't think Noomi Rapace is one of those actresses that, you know, warrants X amount of money. Yeah. So it was just very rough. Maybe she saw the script and said, yeah, you know what? I think I might pass. Because it's full of holes.
From what Ridley Scott has said in regards to his 3 more Prometheus sequels that he wants to do that'll eventually connect to like the intro of Alien for some reason, is the next one will bridge the gap between Prometheus and Covenant, which sounds just, at this point, just terrible.
Why? Oh, guys.
Why not just do that first and then get to Covenant?
Yeah, exactly. So he wants to go Prometheus, Covenant. The next one is...
And backtrack between...
Yeah. The next one is tentatively titled Awakening, and then it'll go Prometheus 3 and 4, or 4 and 5, and then Alien.
That's like if with Star Wars, they're like, right, we've got 1, 2, Rogue One, 4, 6, 5, and I'm like, no, wait, hold on. Like, what's your kids that? Like,
I think he probably saw the finished product and was like, oh shit, I forgot some stuff.
And it's too late for reshoots.
It was the Gamora thing. It was the Gamora thing from Guardians of... Oh shit, Gamora! We gotta figure that out. Oh, my bad.
Yeah, it's just like they'll get into the final edit and somebody's watching, like the editor's watching. So, Ridley, like, what happened with Shaw? Fuck!
She died in the crash. No, wait. God.
Wait a second.
No, I'm sorry, Matt. Go ahead. Finish your thought, brother, and then we go to final thoughts.
That was about it, actually. But yeah, that's the tentative titles for where Alien is going from here on out. Which, I mean, depending on whether the movie does well or not, I mean, that kind of remains to be seen. Some of the reviews have been pretty positive.
Yeah.
For some reason, but I guess we'll see where it goes.
Probably positive reviews from a bunch of people like me who haven't really thought about it yet.
Yeah. Oh, we gave you time to really think about it because all of a sudden, like, from the geek out, you were like, no, I actually dug the movie, and then now you're like, man, there really is a lot more cons.
Whenever I see on my Facebook someone I know going, oh yeah, this was a pretty good film, I'm like, get the fuck out. You're not thinking right. You didn't see Alien. I'm like, get out.
All right, well, we're going to get to final thoughts right now. We're going to wrap this up. So, Matt, final thoughts.
It wasn't what I hoped, and I think there's enough room for some course with that ending, for some course correction to make it good again, and to finally settle some stuff, because I really, really like Prometheus, and I want those questions answered, and I think there is a way to do it right, but I'm kind of worried right now.
Okay. Leonard, final thoughts.
I haven't hated a film since this much in a very long time. It had my hopes high. It made me break my only rule to go to see a film, and it proved to have rules so much more right. I haven't hated a film this much in a very long time. So disappointed. I'm looking at my Alien figures now, thinking, what could this? This is what the film could have been. It could have been something completely different. Hopes are gone. I'm not looking forward to what Ridley Scott's doing next. I just want him to go back to doing shit like The Martian. Shit I know he's good at this point, and not touch Alien. I'm not looking forward to what's next. I'll treat it like I will Transformers. Don't go see it in the cinema. Just find it somewhere online and don't give him your money. Like, whatever you do not. I hate to think I'm going to have to treat this as Bayformers, but I'm going to have to treat this as Bayformers.
Wow, that's some deep shit. Chris, final thoughts.
I guess when it comes down to the conversation here and I'm thinking of all this stuff doing like that, I still ultimately think about it in the form of like I found it entertaining, but it's also like the question in the back of my mind is what can a director or writer do to make me hate this franchise? This movie is it. Like, I think there was a lot of potential. You know, there were certain things that they could have done to make it better, and they just didn't choose that. I don't know if, you know, Ridley Scott's kind of just lost it, like he's falling off the wheels. I don't know if he's still having a hard time coping with the loss of his brother, and that's where a lot of this existential stuff is coming from. I don't want to speculate on that because that's a very personal thing, but I was like, you know, it could be a possible factor as to why he's like doing all this existential stuff now. But it's just like everyone else said, I'm really not looking forward to see where they're going with the franchise. Like, if this is where he's bridging these gaps in the story that are leading up towards where we get to the point where they get wound up on LV 426, it's like, I don't think he's going to give a satisfying answer for how we get to that point. And it's probably better to take the franchise out of his hands and let somebody do something new and reinvigorate some life into it. If in 2-3 years the trailers start coming out and it looks like something that's intriguing and they course correct, I'll give it a shot. But I think the next movie would be that'll be the breaking point for me. If they don't course correct with the next one, then it's just like I can't with this franchise anymore, man.
Gotcha. My final thoughts are this. It's unfortunate when you go into such a beloved franchise, and it has its hits and it has its misses. It definitely does. But when you have the creator of said franchise come back and try to get back to form, and it doesn't work, it's reminiscent of Star Wars. It really is. And it's hard because I'm a diehard Star Wars fan. But the horror and the suspense that was there from the very jump is not there. And you have the same dude who knows he can do that and knows he can make a great movie. Look at The Martian. It's just, why? And if we're not going to... I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't need to see the Xenomorphs origin. We don't. It to me is... It should just be, this is something that's been around for millennia. But you're going to say some robot... You basically want to say God created man, man created robot, robot created creature, creature kills man. I can't deal with that. I don't like that circle is complete shit. The circle is complete when Darth Vader and Obi-Wan met up in A New Hope. So I guess what I'm basically trying to say as I sign out is, help us, Obi-Wan Neil Blomkamp. You're our only hope. And with that being said, this is our alien.
I think you should have for the page a bunch of hats that say "Make aliens great again."
We're leaving on that. We're leaving on that. We're leaving on that.
Again. I'm making the count.
Oh my God! Make it, yes, ladies and gentlemen.
Black and white cat.
Exclusively on the G Show page on Facebook. Get your exclusive "Make Aliens Great Again" hats.
Oh man, now I gotta pay this guy when this goes into fucking fruition. Ladies and gentlemen, we're out of here. Peace.